Okie dokie.
Is it red?
Yep.
We got a red dot. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to 3 Throw to Go, Akron's hottest and fastest growing show. I'm your host, Hank Forrester, coming to you live once again from the Rubber City Theater, right here, sitting on the stage. And I am joined by Amy and Rachel. Thank you guys so much for allowing me to sit down and talk to you.
Thanks for having us.
So it's so cool because this is like breaking news, okay? we're breaking news right now, and this is what we love doing. This is why we do what we do. So Amy and Rachel are from New York, right? Not originally, which I'll ask you that question. All right,
Okay.
But they are here tonight, and they came into town because we're doing what's called a workshop presentation this weekend, and the workshop is where they have created this musical, and it is called On the Line. And it is about World War II, on the line, women at work. And it was freaking amazing. And of all, guys, they decided to pick Akron, Ohio as the backdrop for their musical. So I'm like shocked because Mansfield's invited us, okay, and Lisa's going to be one of our judges for the 3 Throw Voices competition.
Oh my goodness.
And they picked here, Akron, Ohio, to be the basis for this thing. And it is so freaking cool. So thank you guys for picking Akron. And
Akron's an interesting place.
Interesting to say the least. All right. So I'm going to shut up now because I talk too much.
Yes.
I would like both of you to just tell us where you're from, how you got into this industry, what drove you to New York, and then why you picked Akron.
Yeah.
Give me like that high level view of who you guys are.
Okay, I'll start. I'm Rachel. I'm originally from Iowa, Cedar Rapids, Iowa. And then I studied in Miami. I got my undergrad in composition, and then I sort of was like moving towards the theater scene because I was playing piano for all the shows, and I was like, this is a cool hang. And I also like writing music, and so like what better way to collaborate with a bunch of people with a common goal than to work in theater, especially because there are so many people who have like real hearts for like change and social justice and like a lot of important things that are impacting our world right now. So I ended up in New York. We both studied at the same grad school at NYU's graduate musical theater writing program.
Some years apart, but
Yes. And so that's how I ended up in New York.
Okay?
Yep.
Yeah.
And I was born and raised in Portland, Oregon, and I got my undergraduate composition degree outside of Seattle, so also a music composer, and then went right to grad school at NYU, grad musical theater writing, because I also wanted to be part of a community that was collaborative art, and I didn't want to like write symphonies alone in the basement and hope that someday somebody would play them, but I wanted to work actively with a lot of different people and bring all the different elements of design, work with directors and choreographers and lighting designers and sound designers and other writers to make something bigger than what I could just make by myself. And so yeah, we met because I work at NYU now, and so does Rachel, and we wanted to write a piece together. We didn't know what that piece was going to be. And then Dane reached out to us. He'd previously worked with Rachel, and he was like, I want to do this adaptation of Midsummer Night's Dream through a queer lens set in Akron. So that's why it's set in Akron, although it was a pleasure to do all the research to find a time in Akron when it was appropriate to set this story. And it just seemed like there was such a birth of kind of blue collar feminism, birth of like a whole new like industry as more and more people were sort of forced originally into the workforce because a lot of men went fighting overseas. And it just seemed like the perfect opportunity to tell this story, to tell the story we wanted to tell.
Okay.
So yeah, that's how
Well,
we got
and
here.
two asides real quick. Number one, her voice is absolutely gorgeous. So one of the ladies that was one of the leads had gotten sick and had laryngitis. So she actually sang off in the side, and it was just a totally unique experience from a theater perspective because she was supplying her voice while she was still acting it out. And her voice is amazing. So it was really neat to have that experience because, I mean, you don't get to do that, like, ever, okay? And then secondly, another side, Portland, Oregon. Did you ever watch them?
Yeah.
It was
shot there, yeah.
That's how we know Portland. Like, the whole...
I'm glad it's not Portlandia.
Yeah.
And it's not untrue, but it's just one small pocket.
Right. So, and when you think about this being together, you've got Portland, Iowa, they met in New York, And now here we are in Akron. So it literally is the whole United States. It has some perspective in this, in terms of you grew up here, you grew up there, you are working here and are in that environment, and then you're basing it here and had to research here. So it literally takes like all 4 time zones together, I think, and just kind of binds it in this musical, and it's that's the unique part to me. And again, you did mention, you said through the queer lens, okay? So just so you guys know, so you're not taken off guard, it deals with very serious topics in regards to sexuality, and what's interesting is framing it in the 40s. Obviously, that's a time where that's still a taboo thing. So it's one of those deals where you deal with that issue too. And I don't want to give the the musical away, but there's one character that is you know, and I'll just say he represents like everything that would be that stereotype that is against that lifestyle, that's against women in the workplace. And what's the word that you guys use to describe a character like that? Is that an antagonist, or what is that?
Yeah, I think that he's just supposed to kind of represent society at the time,
Yeah.
you know, and that he's the voice of society at the time, and they're all trying to buck that. To name another character in the show, and you know, we didn't want it to be like overwhelming, like the whole world is against them, and we didn't want to kind of expose like a whole lot of like queer trauma. We wanted it to be a joyful thing as well, and wanted them to overcome that.
There are a lot of shows, like almost all shows that you see, now it's getting better, but like historically, most of the work in the theatrical canon that we see that deals with queer issues is like just a lot of trauma against queer
And like
people.
people dying and
You know, it's just, and like we didn't want to do that, like, because they deserve happy ending just as much as every cis white character. You know, and it's just nice for us, and it's a comedy. Midsummer Night's Dream is a comedy, and
we
it's
didn't
horror.
need to kill anybody in this.
There was a lot of funny. There's a lot of funny. There's a lot of funny in the show, and 2 or 3 characters are like really, really funny. Okay, and it's funny, right? Because as dad, father of 4, and 3 of them are daughters. Throughout the musical, I found myself relating to several characters at different times, depending on what they were going through. Which, you know, from a theatrical perspective, that's kind of what you want, is you want the audience to be able to relate to different actors.
Yeah, it means a lot that you did.
Yeah.
That means we're doing our job.
Good job, guys. So what else, is there anything else you'd like to say to Akron and Canton right now?
I would say come back and see the full production May 1st through 17th here at River City Music Theater. You know, this is a developmental process, so we started writing it, we did a reading, which is just behind music stands, and then this is the workshop production, so it's a pared down sort of representation of what it's going to eventually be. We're going to go back to New York on Monday, and we're going to start rewriting the things that we want to rewrite, and then we'll get an even further along the process project in full production from May 1st to 17th right here, so come back and see it.
Okay, good.
Thanks for the inspiration.
Yeah,
Okay.
Thanks, Akron.
Folks, once again, thanks for tuning in. I'll be right back at it tomorrow morning. I'll be at Acme on Manchester Road, the Acme Fresh Markets, with their big wedding cake extravaganza. So I'll be showing off wedding cakes.
That's so fun.
Yeah. So well, I'll be filming that live. But until then, I don't know where I'm going, but there ain't no sense of being late. Ladies, join me if you would. Say goodnight, Shirley.
Good night, Shirley.